Welcome to the DSEF. The Direct Selling Executives Forum was created to be a place where real direct selling executives and vendors in the space can come out and share solutions to challenges that face us all in the marketplace. Our guest today is going to be unpacking a topic and sharing their raw thoughts for you to learn from. All right, let's go meet our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next session of the Direct Selling Executives Forum on our Leadership Podcast series. Man, are you in for a treat today. I can't wait to bring out Tom Big Al Schreiter, connect with you today and as we walk through this topic. For those of you that are brand new to the DSEF, Direct Selling Executives Forum is an invite-only community for active direct selling executives who are running referral marketing businesses all around the world. We're most popular on LinkedIn. And so if you go on LinkedIn and search for Direct Selling Executives Forum or go to directsellingexecutiveforum.com, you're able to get access to the group. You may be watching this stream on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts today. And if you'd like the rest of the resources and insight reports of the DSCF, go to the group and get plugged in. Now, the topic we're unpacking today is this idea of unleashing your team's potential. You know, many of you who run direct selling companies have shared again and again and again, why aren't these people living up to their potential? Why aren't they doing all they can do? And when we started thinking about this, I said, man, I got to get Big Al out here to share and speak. For those of you that haven't met Tom Big Al Schreiter, Tom has 50 plus years of experience in network marketing personally. Okay. I know Tom is super young, but 50 years, right? He started when he was 4 years old in the space, right? He's the author of 40 plus books, many audio training albums, skills needed to become successful in the business. He's a popular speaker and has many conventions and events. His books are located at www.bigalbooks.com. Now, before we jump in, I got to say, gang, I have loved my sessions with Big Al. As a young distributor myself, almost 20 years ago, Big Al would come all the way out to Chicago once a year to just speak to a group of our reps together. And it was always fruitful. It always helped people move from, I don't know if I can do this, to, you know what, I got to go try that stuff. I think I can do this. And so it's just such a gift to have him here today. Big Al, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for inviting me. So what should we talk about?
We're going to unpack unleashing your team's potential. So let's jump right into the panel questions. Now, Tom, in addition to all your speaking and training, you have owned your own direct selling companies. You've recorded thousands of hours of training. You've been a keynote speaker around the globe, and you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in our space. So for today's topic of unleashing your team's potential, right? You have this framework for what it takes to motivate and open the door for people and referral marketing companies to level up. And I just want you to unpack those principles. So what principles would you like to share today with our listeners?
Let's start with a story about Mexico. An MLM company says, okay, I'm going to motivate our team with a big trip to Mexico. We're going to fly them down and we're going to feed them and make sure they don't drink the water, have a good time. And so they run this contest and they do it year after year after year. Maybe next year they go to Europe or someplace else like that. And they say, man, we're doing our part. We're doing everything we can to motivate them to bring out the potential. And I asked them, so tell me about the people that win, that go there every year. Are they the same people? And they go, well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. The leaders, go. And I said, so what was the reason of the contest? Well, we wanted to do the contest so we'd motivate the 99% to do something. And I says, wow, that's pretty incredible. And so did they do something? No. Everybody got excited for a week or two after we announced the contest, and nothing much changed. But we keep rewarding the same leaders time after time after time. And I said, so do you think there's something wrong with that?
Yeah.
And the problem is, when we're running a network marketing company, there's so many things going on. We can't think of everything.
Yeah.
We're busy with this lawsuit over here and inventory supply problem over here. And it just goes on and on. So if we just take a step back and say, wait a minute, we're spending all this money to motivate these 99% and it's not working, but we keep rewarding the top people over and over again because they qualify every time and the other people don't qualify. There's something wrong about that. So tell them this little analogy. I said, imagine you have a grasshopper and you put him down the seat of your car. You know, he's only about so high, so he can't even reach the steering wheel. And you yell at the grasshopper, drive, drive. Grasshopper just sits there and you say, no, 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 drive, drive, drive. Uh, we'll give you an extra 2% bonus. Grasshopper just sits there. No, 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 drive. We're going to double the PV this month. The grasshopper says, no, no, no. All you have to do is meet these KPIs. No, no, no. If you just do so many, grasshopper just sits there because the grasshopper can't do the job. So we think about the 99%, they can't qualify. They're not like the leaders. They don't have the experience. They don't have the sales ability. They don't have the contacts. They don't have the confidence. And so we're giving an incentive to have them do something they can't do. And that's the story of all the wasted money on incentive trips and network marketing. And it's huge, the amount that's wasted, but it does support the travel industry. And you say, well, we're going to, we're going to monitor them and have them send in slips, every time they talk to somebody. It just doesn't, because how am I going to talk to somebody? What are they going to say? They're going to judge me. Will they ban me from weddings and funerals? And all these things go through their minds because 99% of the people have low self-confidence, like I did when I started. Don't know what to say. It's just going to be a running disaster. And the only way to stop the pain probably is just to stop talking to them. So I said, well, the thing we have to look at here is, and I'm not talking about other companies, I'm talking about me. I did this too, is there's kind of a hierarchy, a pyramid of things. The number one thing is if you have like this awesome product, life is good. So if the company had the resources, say just make the product so incredible that it just sells itself. An example of that is TikTok. TikTok doesn't have to have any marketing up on billboards anywhere. They don't have to hire a sales force to have sales training meetings, go out and talk to your friends to get on it. The product is so good, it markets itself, it sells itself.
Big deal. Yeah. You get a bond
So,
with it. Yeah.
So companies, they ask me, so what can we do? And I says, well, the first thing you could do is change your product, but you're not going to do that. And they say, you're absolutely right, because our product is revolutionary, patented, unique, one of a kind. And that's fine that we think that, but the rest of the world may or may not, but you're not going to change it. So let's not even go there. So let's move down the pyramid of what we can do. The next thing is called marketing. And then at the bottom of the pyramid is called sales. So what we do as network marketing companies, we're always working on the bottom, sales, because we don't have marketing departments, because we have overheads, and most of us were distributors. We don't even know the principles of marketing anyway. When we start these companies, we're just excited, and we're out there pushing sales, pushing sales, pushing sales as hard as we can. So everything is sales. Like, if you beat this quota, you win this trip. Or if you sell 2 people at this package, you get this. So it's the sales rally, the sales convention, sales, sales, sales. But most network marketing companies, we don't really do a very good job of marketing. Marketing is so much more powerful than sales, but we spend our entire time, like, look at, all my books. They're mostly about sales. What to say to people, what to do, sales, 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 sales. But if we were smarter, we would kind of rethink our marketing. And most companies think marketing is something like, well, that's how we do our brochures. That's our marketing department, and they design slides. And you want to jump off a cliff when you hear that. Yes. Here's what we do as companies. We designed this really cool sales presentation with beautiful slides. And it's designed by somebody who had a graphics design degree from some university and do it, who's never been out talking to people. This presentation is under the assumption that when a network marketer sits down with somebody, the person they talk to says, put the kids away for an hour. I'm going to sit and give you my undivided attention. Listen to every piece of information, not let my mind drift at any moment in time. And then at the end, I'm going to calmly weigh the pros and cons and the benefits and make an informed decision. That's
the assumption.
That's an assumption. So I'm not saying that sales presentations and stuff or company videos are useless. I'm saying they happen after the decision. One of the things we learned from neuroscience and brain science is that the human mind makes its final decision almost instantly and based on zero information. And when I teach this at workshops, people get really upset. They're like rioting. No, no, no. They got to listen to the information. They got to know what percentage is on level 2 of the comp plan, and they have to see how it compares to another ingredient over here. And that's why we have to do a whole presentation. I'm just thinking, all right, let me do an example because it's easier if we just look at our own self. So I said, all right, so let me just ask everybody here. If I told you that your prospect makes their final decision the first 15 or 20 seconds based upon zero information, how are you going to take that? And they say, I'm going to riot. I says, well, but it's the reality. And if that's the reality, get with the program. You don't need a spreadsheet to keep track of how many sales presentations people allegedly thought they might make in a week. You don't need that. It's all happen right away. So I give them an example. I said, okay, here's the example. How many people here in this room, I'm just going to ask you right now, is it okay if I take your children skydiving with me?
Probably not. Right.
And it says, how many people here have already made a decision? They'll raise your hand. I says, a lot of you made the decision. Oh, no, you can't take my babies. And others said, well, with my brats, I'd help push them out of the plane, whatever the decision is. But it was instant. And I said, it seems to me that you made that decision before the information, before I told you I'm a professional skydiver, that I'm successful 3 out of 4 times, that we're only going to skydive 1 inch. You made the decision before any of this information happened. And they look at me and get a little irritated. I said, so, all right, how many people here have ever seen a video on YouTube? How many seconds to do the video before you make your final decision? Okay. I said, Ben and I are given a meeting. And Ben says at the end of the meeting, when the meeting's over, we're going to get some ice cream. Who wants to come with us? Half the people raise their hand and half the people don't. They say, oh, no, we're lactose intolerant. We have babysitters at home and they can't go. But how quick was that decision? And they made it before they knew where the ice cream parlor was, how many kilocalories in the ice cream, what flavors. If Ben was going to pay for everybody, they're going to have to pay for themselves. I said, get with the program. When we sit down with somebody, the yes or no decision happens first. If the answer is yes, then and only then would we give them a little presentation, some information. That's the only time you'd ever do it. And I do about 12 or 13 more examples till they want to hang me. And at that point, they finally give up. And I said, we can do this all day. I mean, when you go to the restaurant, you say, look, were these vegetables organically grown? Did the chicken have a happy life before they killed it? No, you don't ask that. You just order, chicken and vegetables or whatever. It's just how people think. And it says, all right. So maybe the part of marketing, one of the things the marketing department should do is say, all right, we got 99% amateurs out here who can't even sell their mother. And if they did, they'd have to give it for free. And we're asking them to try to pretend to be a salesman and do a presentation and invite them to meetings and do appointments. And we're not even on the right page. So before we introduce, all these KPIs we want them to do and things like that, maybe we should just kind of back up and say, all right, let's kind of rethink this here. I give a couple examples. I said, let me show you the difference marketing makes. If you're going to run a trip to Mexico or a cruise, invite me to come speak, because I like to take holidays, but, invite me. But why not make it where you get some return on your investment? I mean, instead of just rewarding the same people over and over again, who are going to do it anyway. Well, that's just dumb. What we want to do is get that other 99%. If you had a real live marketing department, or you hired a virtual CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, a part-time one to come, 1 hour a week just to keep things on track, they'd do something like this. Let me use a good network marketing example here. All right, 40 years ago, there was a company that sold water filters.
Sure.
And they're very famous for pushing a lot of water filters.
Yep.
And it probably wasn't the highest quality water filter out there. Maybe didn't even qualify as mediocre, but they sold a lot. And you say, well, how is it they got people to buy $5,000 worth of water filters and go out and with absolutely no sales skills, no self-esteem, no self-image, move these things? Was it because we gave them sales training on how to close? By saying, well, uh, the water you get right now is just nothing but recycled toilet water from upstream, so you really want one of these. They didn't do that. So here's what they did, which was brilliant marketing. They said, okay, you got this water filter, go to a friend's home and say, put the water filter in your home and try it for 7 days or 3 days or something like that. Let's say 7 days. And I'll come back and pick it up in 7 days and get your opinion. And you say, okay, that sounds good, but here's the person saying, kind of push this on my friend. And then, was my friend going to be thinking? And will my friend actually do it? So they have a marketing problem, not a sales problem, a marketing problem. So here's what they did. They said every week we're going to have a drawing, a free trip to Hawaii. So of all the alleged potential customers that just tried it for a week, we're going to put their names in a drawing and we draw one out and they win a trip to Hawaii. Not only that, the person who loaned them the filter, the distributor, wins a trip also. Now what happens? We say, So when I call my friend, I say to my friend, hey, just put it in your house for a week. I don't care if you like it or not. But, if your name is drawn, I get a trip to Hawaii. Don't deny me having that chance.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they pumped out water filters like crazy because they gave grasshopper, in this case, a living chance to do something. It's something that they didn't have to have a selling background, but marketing pulled it off. Here's another one from 40 years ago. We had a all natural cookie that you could eat that was, so many calories and it was healthy and it was a snack and it's something we sold. All we did was created, back then there was the button that says lose weight, ask me how.
Yep. Yep.
Remember that very famous one?
Yeah.
We just redesigned the button because we're not very creative. But we redesigned the button that says eat cookies, lose weight. We had Hicks from nowhere selling boxes and boxes of cookies, just wearing a button everywhere they went. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And not a single one of them can mention the ingredients in the cookie.
Marketing.
And marketing. So I would say that's what I see different is right now everybody is tied up with how many impressions I got on my Twitter post. And if I put them into an automated funnel into my CRM to back up where I give them sign them into a Zoom presentation for 40 minutes. And, all I can say is there's going to be a lot of starving grasshoppers out there. So that's what I see.
And Big Al, I love your perspective on this framework. Just as I'm taking notes, the big part I heard, and we have to all be reminded of this. It's like as a parent, when you get upset with your children, it's many times that you're expecting them to be something they're not. When you think about that, and as someone who's an executive running a direct selling company, they get upset with the field. Oh, that field, they're lazy. Oh, that field, they don't do nothing. Look, I put the Mexico incentive contest in there and the double PV on the last day of the month and the week period and the bonus PV. They don't get it. They're lazy. Well, your grasshopper example is so good because we get so frustrated as leaders at times when we make the mistake of expecting these independent promoters to be somebody they're not. And when we align our expectations with what they do have, and then we do the work, right? So I love this picture you painted because what do they have? What did these Hicks from down south with the cookie button 40 years ago have? They had other people around them, right? They had relationships. They had relationships in their life. They weren't the only person on 400 acres where no one's around them, right? They were physically near other people on a daily or weekly basis. So a little button marketing worked on their shirt to where they could share cookies with one another 40 years ago. And if we expect them to, you talked about experience, confidence, and competence, is that not everyone's the same. There is a group of people in your company who will have experience, confidence, or competence. And then there'll be another group who's gaining experience, confidence, competence, is doing the work, they're learning. But that's the 80-20 rule there. Those are just the 20%ers up there, right? There's the 80%ers that Big Al's talking about here, gang, and don't got none of that. And so that unlocking the code, if you don't invent the next TikTok as your product and you move down the line of marketing, you gotta be real honest about what will I do as an executive and the marketing team to make it work. And sometimes it is an app, sometimes it is a video, sometimes it is a tool that gives them the confidence today to be able to go engage somebody else. But it has to be something that 80%er can do. This pyramid is just brilliant. For those of you that didn't write it down, gang, the pyramid starts with product. Does this product sell itself? Does this thing just need people to say, wow, and then people just enjoy the product? Like, is that all it really requires? Or is your product one that requires some marketing? And if you're living at the lowest level of just sales, good luck. You're just churning with everybody else in the space. And your notes on neuroscience, if you guys missed that, you want to go get a copy of the live stream, rewind, right? You get it. You walk into a restaurant and know if you should walk out, right? You start a movie and you turn it off in the first few seconds before even the music's finished in the beginning many times, and go to the next movie because it wasn't it. How many times have you picked up a book and the cover, you didn't even open it and you saw the cover when it arrived. You just left it on your shelf, right? So Big Al's sharing truth here. And these frameworks, when applied, do bring real results. Now, from this framework, Tom, I do want to just take a moment. You mentioned some of the pitfalls of just not being aware, right? Just missing the awareness. But just before moving to the next section, any other pitfalls you've just seen, and I know you see a lot, if there's one or two more that you'd like to highlight for the other executives just to avoid in this lack of awareness world, anything else you'd like to highlight there?
I think that if we just concentrated on the first 15 seconds, that's where we really fail people as execs. That's our job. We should do the marketing. That's the job of the company, not the job of the
Amen.
sales force. It's the job of the company.
Amen.
So if we fail there, that's our fault. And the penalty for failing in marketing is you got to push sales all the time and discount and 2-for-1s and endless sales meetings and endless sales calls. And if we just I tell people, if you just want to change your company in a big way, just look at the marketing and only focus on the first 30 seconds instead of saying, well, if we just switch slide 64 with slide 65 and reverse the order, it's going to make some difference,
So good.
I asked the women in the group, not that I'm sexist, but I just say, ladies in a group here, have you ever sometime in your lifetime met a young man, made up your mind about the young man, where that young man might fit in your life and do it in the first 30 seconds? They all go, yeah. And I say to the men, is that fair? And they say, no. And they haven't even heard our presentation yet. So it's just, I don't know how many ways I could describe it to people.
Yeah.
But I say, how many people entered a relationship or got married before you had all the information?
Yeah.
And usually by that time, they're ready to hang me. So I say, if you just remember just one thing, it's just do our job as a marketing executive the first 30 seconds. If we did that, that would be the biggest, fastest change we could do in our business.
It's because that's where it all breaks. That's actually where it all fails. You look at like a manufacturing process, right? And you say, okay, like you're building a car, right? If it's breaking at the front, so the rest of it, this stuff doesn't matter yet. You fix the first bottleneck before you move to the next bottleneck. And I've seen what you're talking about so many times with clients I've gotten to work with in the space. Big Al's, we're so concerned about, I love your example, slide 62 versus slide 67. I've spent hours arguing about that with folks, and I get it. It truly is like, do the 80% get it enough to where they can do those first 15 seconds? Because
and you have the software to track everything for them and keep track and all the back office for the team. They don't have to worry about that. But what we have to do is give them the tools so they can maybe put some volume under each of those IDs. That's all.
Exactly. Now the world's changed a ton. No, that's not new news to anybody watching this stream, and you've seen a lot. And I'm just curious, as you've unpacked some awesome frameworks here today. But from everything you're seeing right now, what do you see as just the greatest opportunities for direct selling companies to go ahead and do this and unleash the team's potential in today's marketplace?
I don't think it's much changed. The reason direct selling and network marketing just works so well is we have distributors that can explain stuff on their time for free. We're not buying media time.
Sure.
To explain our product and to tell about some testimonials and all this stuff. That's expensive if you use any kind of media to do it. And nobody's really going to see it too much on social media as they scroll by, because they say, what is it? The meme is that goldfish have a 8-second attention span or 9-second, and we're like 1 second less.
Yeah.
It's really not that. It's really not ADHD. I think I heard Seth Godin explain. He says it's not that we have ADHD. It's just that there's more choices now
Yeah.
that we have than we did when there was a rotary dial phone and 3 channels on TV.
Sure.
So our competition is much more now. So you have competition on Amazon and eBay and every other direct selling, and you have discount stores. And what has changed is people have access to information now online. When you think about that, so our presentations have less and less value because everybody go online and check out everything. So that's not what direct selling, direct marketing should be about. It should be about that initial 30-second decision. I tell people that companies can do everything. They can make the product, they can hire lawyers, have websites, they have customer service, ship directly to people. They can do everything except getting the yes decision. So I love being a distributor. All we have to do is get a little yes decision. The company has to do everything else. So being a distributor is like the most greatest, awesome partnership in the world. I says, all you have to do is just focus on getting a yes decision. And then, company says, well, you can have the app here, you can show them the video, or you could give them this, or the company's done all that stuff. And it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
So if we focus on understanding that the purpose of business is to solve people's problems, and all you have to do is find out if they have a problem, if they want to fix the problem, when's a good time to do it, our job's done. They either want to fix the problem or keep it, either way is fine. And everything else the company's done for us. I mean, we got the greatest cool deal. The company has to worry about employees showing up and taxes and paperwork. As distributors, we just have the time of our lives. We have absolutely no responsibility. We don't show up for 2 months. Nobody knows or cares. Our downline is happy we don't call them and harass them. I mean, life is really good. So just say the company can do everything except get a decision. So we help people learn how to get a yes decision through our marketing and through our sales training, showing them how to do it. That's where I think most of the focus should be. Just personal opinion.
I got it. And man, and team, what a powerful thought. I know many of you are taking notes and thinking about this, and you gotta look back on, okay, what do I do about those first 15 seconds? Powerful, powerful thought. Out of curiosity, one of the fun questions we like to ask at the end as we wrap up is just knowing everything you know today. I know you've been in the space for 50 years. We're just going to go back 25 years, halfway through your journey. If you could go back 25 years, back into, the end of the 90s here, with all you know today, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I don't know if I'm a good case study because I was like a total wreck. But, I was a shy, nerdy, personality-free, charisma bypass, socially challenged engineer. Should not be out in public, okay? But if I were to look back 50 years, here's what I would have taught myself. I could have got rid of all the drama and everything by saying, all we want to do is get people to give a yes decision. And we feel like we're being judged, and there's risk for rejection, people saying no. And I'd say, well, what I should have done is learn how to do the business with 0 chance of rejection. And we can do that. There's all these little phrases you can say, but here's what people do. We have an agenda. A prospect looks at us, and prospects have these programs, subconscious mind programs are able to do this. 2 cavemen meet in a forest for the first time. They have about, 1 second to figure out a friend or foe. And if they get that wrong, they don't reproduce. So we come from a long lineage of people that get this right. So we can look at somebody and just size them up immediately. And how we size them up is body language. We look at their body language. They look like a salesman and they're carrying a suitcase. Yeah.
Like them too.
Tone of voice. They sound like a salesman. And you think about tone of voice. When mom calls us to come to the kitchen, we can tell by her tone of voice if it's going to be good or bad.
Sure.
So they automatically judge our body language, our tone of voice, the words we say. That's the sales, the bottom thing, teach them the right words to say. And number 4 is the microfacial expressions. The human face can make up to about 25 microfacial expressions per second, which means 25 different poses. And we're able to read that. We can tell if somebody has a sincere smile or a fake smile. We can just tell this. And women are really good at this. They can move like one eyebrow at a time, and it's unbelievable. But those 4 things, people judge us on. So in the back of their mind, they don't understand this. They don't understand their subconscious mind or anything. But the subconscious mind sends a signal to the conscious mind saying you can trust this person, or they have an agenda they're going to try to sell you, like that. And I tell people, if you want to adjust your body language, your tone of voice, the words you say, and your microfacial expressions, all you have to do, you don't have to twitch your face. All you have to do is change your agenda. Because all 4 things are automatically controlled by your intention. Automatically. So if you change your intention from, I'm giving you a gift, you can take it or not. And I don't know your situation, so I can't make that choice for you. But if you take it, great, I can help. And if you don't take it, it's probably a good decision for you, because you know what's else going on. You could have self-image problems or childcare problems. Who knows what it may be. And so if you go out there, I could tell myself, say, just go out and give people an option. Now, we know that what we offer is pretty good. I tell people in nutrition companies, I mean, you go out there and talk to people. Do they want to live longer or die quickly? Tough decision. Do they want more money in their life or less money in their life? Oh, and I wasn't very good at math, but I think more money sounds better. All right. 100% of the people you talk to probably want what you have to offer.
Sure.
Offer it to them. But realize there's a lot of reasons they might say no, and be okay with that. And our intention shows up all over our face, our tone of voice, everything. And it's stress-free. If I would have known that from day one, oh, wow, would have changed my life. So that's what I wish I would have known.
And that's total gold, Tom. That's such a good reminder. It's so freeing too, because I remember that move even personally, and I learned that from some of your books when I was a 17-year-old kid going through some of your stuff 20 plus years ago. And I think that it was the moment, because when you're living with that agenda, it's also your ego, right? It's all about you. It's all about what you want, you need it. You need the sale right now. And it's so stressful. And so you're in this desperate ego you mode going out there in the marketplace, and that doesn't attract anybody. You're not living a life of service. You're not living a life to create value for others. Every little facial muscle tension is about your own selfish ego. And we all have needs. We all desire to feed our families and our kids and have them go to good schools, and probably need a car to go to the school and come home, and probably need gas for the car and maybe food in the refrigerator. Hey, I get it. Nothing wrong with having needs. But you hear what Tom said, teaching that to your distributors is such a mind shift of saying, hey, when you show up with the agenda, that like there are the majority of the reasons someone says no to your offer when you share it is not about you. It's about them and what they're going through in their season of life. And sometimes it's just timing, and it'll be a better time in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or 180 days. And that's fine. That's what those good old CRMs are for, right? You tag them and get back to them later. Cool.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is, it's not about you. Stop being so selfish, distributors. Stop making this about you. You think this is all about you? It's not about you. It's about serving other people. And that message is so freeing, Tom. I love it. It's such a gift. So thank you for sharing that today. It's just powerful. Yeah. Well,
so I hope everybody does better marketing in the first 15 seconds, because that's what I would do.
Amen. Gang, I just want to thank Tom for coming out here today. For those of you that have watched the stream here today, you're welcome to subscribe on YouTube or on the podcast for more information. To plug in your team and learn more about Tom, go to bigalbooks.com so you can check out his resources and invite him to speak at your event. If you thought he was funny and hilarious today, because I'm busting a gut over here, your members will be busting a gut too at events. I think Tom always gets the room going. So if you're doing conventions, you're doing events, consider inviting Tom out to be one of your speakers. He does fill up very quickly his calendar, so do reach out with your dates ahead of time, gang, so you can have the best shot at getting Mr. Tom to your event. And with that, I want to thank you for attending today and wish you all the best. Now, take the information you learned today and do something with it, because that's the only way it's going to make a difference. Have an amazing day, everybody. We'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.
If you haven't yet joined the DSEF group on LinkedIn, go to directSellingExecutiveForum.com or go on LinkedIn and search for Direct Selling Executive Forum to apply. The group is free and is an invite-only community of direct selling executives by direct selling executives.